Folks, there is still a lot Nintendo has not told you about the Nintendo Switch 2's 2025. What better time than today to predict it all? Folks, welcome to the Mario Matter, your favorite Nintendo podcast, episode 138. I am your host, Nintendo YouTuber EmSwizzle. Welcome back in, folks. You're probably wondering what is on today's program. Let's run you through it real fast. First things first, we go over some Nintendo news. Lots of juicy tidbits of news over the past week and a big update for Nintendo Switch. After that, we predict Nintendo Switch 2's 2025, what day some certain games release, what other games will be announced, when will there be some certain Nintendo Direct presentations. We predict all of that, and then after that, we dive into the Q&A segment where I answer your questions you asked me, and they are juicy questions, believe me. Let's go ahead, not waste your time. Let's get to talking some Nintendo news now. Let's go.
Welcome to the Mario Matter, the #1 Nintendo podcast.
It feels like it's been forever since the last episode, but no, we post every week, so the last episode was actually just last week. We had Sunbro Nation on the podcast. I can't believe I got through that podcast. I was on 3 hours sleep because of the whole Switch 2 pre-order camping out at GameStop thing. Yeah, if you didn't know, I was outside GameStop for 25 hours. It was not fun, but I'm here now, well rested. I mean, I am kind of tired, but well rested. We're all gonna we bring the energy, we bring the boom to the Mario Matter, as they say. Folks, let's stop rambling. You're here, you see me, you want to know about some Nintendo news, and I bring that to you all. So let's go ahead and dive into our first piece of Nintendo news over the past 7 days. We post weekly, so last 7 days. First things first, Nintendo Switch actually got an update. Now, I've talked about lots of Nintendo Switch software updates on this podcast, and usually we brush it off as, they changed this tiny thing, if that. Usually it's just like, system stability improvements that no one cares about, right? But sometimes there's something, and that's cool. This time, folks, Nintendo Switch Update version 20.0.0 has released, and so much stuff changed. This could be the biggest Nintendo Switch software update of all time. Let's walk you through what was all in it, because it's big. Now, I made a YouTube video on this on my main channel called EmSwizzle. That's where I originate from, and it did very well. Thank you all for the support. But if you watched that, you got a pretty good idea of what was in this update, but I believe that we have some more. We have a couple more facts that came out after I recorded that video, so if you want to listen to this, feel free. There's a couple new things here. So first things first, the first thing that I noticed, and listen, this probably is not the biggest thing that came out of this update, but the biggest thing for me personally is this. So Nintendo changed the icons on your home menu. So first things first, the news icon that used to be red on the home screen is now green, and the Nintendo eShop icon, which used to be orange, is now red. Now, why is that? So, what I figured out, and I've seen no one talk about this, what I have figured out is if you look at the Nintendo Switch 2 home screen, there's a green icon, and, we saw this home screen of the Switch 2 before this Switch 1 update came out. And everyone was talking about what that green icon is. Well, now that they changed the news icon on Switch 1 to green, we can infer that the Switch 2 green icon that we've been looking at is just the news icon. So it's kind of some bad information right there, but we can get through it. I was hoping that green icon would be like a way that you can see how many hours exactly you've played of Switch games. No, it's not. It appears to be another news icon. And then, as we know, eShop turned red. There's a couple of eShop updates that I didn't actually get to discuss in my video because, I made the video like an hour, not even 1 hour after the update came out. And, it takes some time for more info to come out. So what we learned afterwards, couple of eShop changes. So first things first, the whole not just the icon, but the whole shop is now red. Next, some small things. Nintendo has tried to get rid of all of the AI sloppy games that, no one's browsing the eShop to buy, So that's going to be your anime AI. I won't go into it, but you are aware of what I'm talking about. So their way to combat that is pretty much on the top charts list of the eShop, so like, the top most bought games, it goes in terms of revenue. So let's make this simpler to understand. If game A sells 100,000 copies, but game A only costs 1 cent, what's that? Like, I can't do math. So whatever, a total amount of money that came out to is whatever it is. And then say game B, which costs $60, sold 10,000 copies. Even though that game B sold less, they made more money. And so that game would be higher on the top charts list, if that makes sense. So it's not about quantity now, it's about how much money you made. I imagine that is because, the eShop AI things are like, not expensive and they get bought, but, they won't make the top charts anymore. So that is a brand new Nintendo eShop update. Got some other very small things for the eShop. Actually, I believe just one more thing. Yeah. It's tiny thing, tiny small little thing. When you wishlist a Nintendo Switch game on the eShop and then you buy it, it automatically gets taken off your wishlist. Very small thing, I know, very, very tiny thing. But that actually has bugged me in the past, so I'm glad that is gone. So I'll take it. I'm not sure why it took so long, but I'll take it. Other changes with this version 20.0.0 update is the Nintendo Switch now has virtual game cards. So in the March 27th, 2025 Nintendo Direct, we got the announcement of the virtual game cards coming to Nintendo Switch. Basically, it is a way where if you buy a game digitally, you can loan it to somebody in your Switch Online family, and they can play it for 2 weeks, then they send it back to you. It's a cool little convenient thing that you can do. And that is now on Nintendo Switch. So if I have a Zelda game digitally, my friend doesn't, I can give it to him for 2 weeks and he can play it. That's kind of how the virtual game cards work. It was a bit confusing, but hopefully I just made it pretty simple to understand right then. So that's good stuff. They also have added the game chat, or sorry, not game chat. They've added game share. Why do they got to make those so similar, man? They added the game share function to Switch 1. So once Switch 2 comes out, you can, of course, do the game share feature where a Switch 2 user can start a game share session, and Switch 1 players or Switch 2 players can join that session. And what it is if somebody on Switch 2 is playing Clubhouse games, a Switch 1 user can join the game share session and play Clubhouse games with the Switch 2 user, even if the Switch 1 user who joined the game share does not have it. So it's a way for a Switch 2 user to share games with other people on their own Switches without everybody having to own that game, if that makes sense. That feature has been added to Switch 1 just in preparation for Switch 2. That comes out in just over a month. And then finally, a couple more things. Nintendo updated the user icons. So now Donkey Kong, the user icon for your Switch profile, now has his new redesigned look. Same thing with Mario and Luigi. They have updated the Mario and Luigi user icons for the Switch profiles. There is a feature to transfer your data to the Switch 2 when it comes out. And there's also a feature where if you're selling your Switch 1, you can upload all of your Switch 1 data to the cloud and then sell your Switch 1, buy your Switch 2, and then re-download all of your Switch 1 data from the cloud onto your Switch 2 in case you're trading in your Switch 1 for a Switch 2. I am saying Switch a lot. Hopefully that made sense. That is pretty much it for this Nintendo Switch update version 20.0.0. Do let me know if I missed anything. Oh, there's one more tiny thing. If you're looking at somebody's Switch profile, I think it now says, or at least it will say in the future, it'll say in parentheses at the end of what game they're playing, Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2. So then you can see what console they're playing the game on, that kind of stuff. So very cool. That's the update. I mean, I'll take it. I'm not jumping for joy. I'm not running to my Switch, but that is an update that, came out for the Nintendo Switch. So, I mean, listen, any update that is more than just the same old system stability stuff, I'll take it, okay? Nobody can ever complain about these things. Now, one last bit of news on the update. Some people actually got this update, and then they couldn't turn on their Switch and play the Switch, and it bricked their Switch. That's not good. So Nintendo actually this morning rushed out an update, version 20.0.1, where that the whole issue is fixed. They gave you a solution on their website to fix the issue. You can do that. I'll leave all the links down below. If your Switch is broken, you can now fix it with their solution. So cool stuff. Let's move on to some more Nintendo Switch news. We have some good news for the Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube Classics Switch Online mode. So as we know, GameCube coming to Switch 2. I don't have to tell you that. We all know. We're all excited. We get our hands on it in just over a month when Switch 2 releases on June 5th. And we have a couple tidbits of good news. So first things first, I alluded to it last episode, didn't get to fully talk about it. If you are interested in buying the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube Classics controller, the special wireless controller they make for the Switch Online consoles, the N64 has one, NES, you understand, right? That controller goes up for pre-order at the earliest May 8th, and that goes to May 12th. So throughout May 8th to the 12th, if you registered, and you have to do this, if you registered your interest for pre-ordering a Nintendo Switch on Nintendo's website, you might receive an invitation to pre-order a Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube controller. So you might get an email, look out for it on those dates, but if you don't get that, and if there's still somehow, some way, some in stock on May 13th, one day after the, pre-order window, they will release whatever is left to all Nintendo Switch Online members. Now, here's what I have not been able to figure out. And, we can Google it right now, just in case, I do my research before the podcast, but all of a sudden I Google one thing and then the answer pops up. I have not been able to find out if you have to pre-order a Switch 2 through Nintendo, and then you're able to get the GameCube, or can you just buy it? Like, can I buy just the GameCube controller, or do I have to pre-order a Switch, and then it says, hey, if you want to add this on, like, okay, let's check. Nintendo GameCube controller, I'm so bad at Googling, do I have to pre-order the Switch? Here we go. So a Nintendo Life article pops up. It doesn't appear that you have to. I don't think. Alongside the Switch 2 release, Nintendo is adding the GameCube library. Yada, yada, yada. So here's what Nintendo said. From May 8th to 12th, limited to Nintendo Switch Early Purchase Access Invitation recipients, G's. Okay, so it doesn't say that you have to pre-order it. I guess just register your interest, and then you can buy it. Okay, well, simple enough. You'll see me buying it, hopefully May 8th. We will see. And then also, here's the good news, people. If you don't get one, and knowing my luck, knowing my freaking Nintendo luck, I won't get one. I will not get a GameCube Switch 2 controller pre-ordered on that day. Knowing me, right? If you don't get one, good news. You can connect any GameCube controller to the Switch and play that way. So if you have the GameCube adapter for the Switch, you can plug that into your Switch 2 and plug in any old GameCube controller, and it will work that way. So if you don't have a Switch Online GameCube controller, it's not the end of the world. So that's always good news. Worst comes to worst, you just play with your Pro controller. Worst comes to even worse, you play with your Joy-Cons. Worst comes to worst, you buy a GameCube. I mean, I don't know. Like, listen, like, it's tough out here, man. I don't know. GameCube controllers, they're all limited. Switch 2 is high in demand. We got some problems over here, guys, but that is some good news for the GameCube, Switch 2, Switch Online goodness. Let's move on to our next piece of news. And this piece of news, guys, I'm very excited. I got the emotions flowing. I'm happy about this, okay? New Mario and Animal Crossing Lego sets are releasing this August. Now, Max, why are you excited? You are not the biggest Lego guy. You know, you buy them sometime. Here's why I'm excited. We got a couple good sets, okay? Not only am I a big Animal Crossing fan, I'm Animal Crossing's biggest fan. I actually am very interested in one of the Mario sets. So it's actually the first one. I am most interested in the first set here, out of like 9 sets. The first one, Prince Florian and Castle Bowser. So I'll put a picture on screen. This set is essentially, not to spoil it, sorry if I am spoiling it. If you have not beat Mario Wonder, mute me for 10 seconds right now. Okay, cool. It is the boss battle, pretty much, for Mario Bros. Wonder. It is the big, like, Bowser ship thing, and Prince Florian comes with the set. That is very cool. Mario Wonder spoilers are over. You can unmute me now. But it's 1,200 pieces. That is very, very cool. Super Mario Captain Toad's Camp is another set. 159 pieces. We have Super Mario Party at Toad's House, Mario Kart, Wario and King Boo set, a Mario Kart Bowser's Castle set, a Mario Kart Interactive Lego Mario and Standard Kart set. That's only 200 pieces. And then for the Animal Crossing sets, listen, guys, they kind of missed here, okay? As big of an Animal Crossing fan, that I am, they kind of missed, okay? So first things first, the Animal Crossing Creative Houses Seasons of Fun set. Can I Google? Listen, like, I got all the pictures on here, but I think that one might be missing. Animal Crossing Seasons of Fun. Let's look at this. Let's look at this set. It's just a bunch of houses, right? Am I wrong? Let's see. Okay, so it's on screen for you all. It's 2 houses. Now, I will give credit. Stitches is included as a character. Oh, what's that pink deer's name? It starts with an F. I can spell it, but I can't say it. I know who that is. And then, oh God, who's the gray wolf that comes with the set as well? It's I've not played Animal Crossing in so long. Dude, me in 2021 could have told you all of them. I'm forgetting all their names now, but there's a couple of like different trees. There's a fall tree and a winter tree. I mean, Lego is pretty cool. Then you also have the Animal Crossing Blathers Museum set. That is 500 pieces. And you might be like, Max, you said that these sets were kind of a miss, no? Listen, the Blathers Museum is very cool. My problem is that it's 500 pieces. Now, that sounds like a lot. You'll finish that in like 45 minutes. And guess what? It's going to be overpriced. It's going to be very overpriced. That, to me, is a miss. It should have been one of the bigger sets, like 1,000 pieces. Add Brewster's shop in there. Like, it doesn't even have that. It's just the museum, Blathers. It's not the best. So there's that. And then finally, Animal Crossing Goldie's Cozy House for 150 pieces. They could have been better. I get they're all cash grabs and they're all overpriced. I mean, listen, like, it's cool. It's whatever, but like, Give me Brewster's Coffee Shop, and then maybe I'll give you some kudos. Even if it's like 100 pieces, I'll give you some kudos then. That is Mario Lego. That is Animal Crossing Lego. Let's move on to our last bit of news before we dive into predicting some Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. We got a lot of small Nintendo news. So I put all of this little tiny pieces of Nintendo news all into one news segment, if that's cool. So we're kind of gonna spitball here, if that's fine. Okay, it's like 3 different topics of 3 different small pieces of Switch 2 news. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. So, first things first, your Nintendo Switch 1, your Switch 1 will not work in your Nintendo Switch 2 dock. Is anybody upset about that? Now, I understand it probably should work in your Switch 2 dock. That would make sense. That would be nice. That would be cool. This isn't the same, but it's kind of similar to like when your Wii remotes from the first Wii work on the Wii U. Like, it was kind of nice that that could carry over, and they are still doing that. Switch 1 Joy-Cons work on Switch 2. I'm just trying to compare or like find past examples of when the old stuff worked on the new thing. So I guess they just couldn't make it work. That's fine. They're different sizes. That's cool. It sucks that we have to buy more Switch 2 docks. So then, once, say that you have 2 Switch 1 docks, and then you're going to have 2 Switch 2 docks. You have a lot of docks in your house, okay? So not ideal. But then also, next piece of news, Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons will have a quieter HD rumble. Would you look at that? So I never thought that the current Joy-Cons HD rumble was loud, but it came out. The Switch 2 Joy-Cons will have a quieter HD rumble. Cool piece of news. After that, final piece of news of the entire news segment and the entire episode, Nintendo eShop gift cards have gotten a redesign. So it's all visual. I can't describe it for the audio listeners too well, so I'll put it on screen. It's pretty much so as we know now, at least in America, I know that it's probably different across all countries. In America, I'll tell you what we have. We have the tall vertical Nintendo gift cards. So it's long, it's taller vertically than it's wide, so it's not a square, if that makes sense. And each one has a character on it, whether it's Mario, whether it's I think Luigi's one, I think Peach is one, I think Toad is one, I think Bowser's one. It's all Mario characters. So we have that right now. Unsure of what country this is, but I believe that it'll be pretty universal. When Switch 2 comes out, these on screen are the brand new gift cards that you will see around town. So for our audio listeners, the whole gang is back. It's Donkey Kong, it's Mario, it's Peach, it's Toad, it's Bowser, it's Luigi, but the cards look a little bit different. They are square. The money value, or they're close to pretty close to square, not exactly. The money value is in the top right, so whatever amount of money it is, there you go, it'll be up there. And that's pretty much it. So I told you 3 small pieces of news. That was all 3. Let's go ahead, folks. Let's not wait any further. You've probably been waiting. You've been listening. You want to hear. It is time for me to predict the Nintendo Switch 2's 2025. There's a lot of unanswered questions, such as, when will there be some Nintendo Directs? We still have no dates for Drag X Drive. We still have no date for Kirby Air Ride. Still have no date for Metroid Prime 4. What's going to release in September? What's going to release in October? What's going to release in November? What's going to release in December? Will there be anything else in June? I predict all of it. Let's go ahead and get there now. Folks, we are currently in May. As of posting this podcast, May the 3rd be with you. Just gotta wait one more day. May the 4th be with you tomorrow on Sunday. But I guess we all live in the same universe. We have 7 more months of 2025, and I am to predict all 7 of those months for the Nintendo Switch 2. From June to December, we have a lot to predict. And as I was saying, there's so much Nintendo has not given us. Release dates, more game announcements, things like this. I will predict all of them today because I am the master predictor. I am the mystic man who predicts the things with his crystal ball. That's me, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and start predicting what I think will happen for the Switch 2 each month starting in June. So, listen guys, June is no secret. Switch 2 launch, Mario Kart World, we know what June holds for Nintendo. However, instead of skipping this month and going right to July and starting to, predict all of that, I actually have one other June prediction. I think there is no way we go through June and there is no Nintendo Direct. I think that there is a June Nintendo Direct, and I'll tell you when I think it is, and I'll tell you what's going to be in it. So, I think, because dude, picture this, okay? You buy Switch 2 June 5th, you're playing Mario Kart World, and then 20 days go by, and of course, everything still feels new, everything still is fun, but it's a brand new console. You kind of are just waiting for the next thing, Because as Nintendo fans, we get a little impatient, me included. I'm not, shaming you, right? So I think there's a Direct sometime around June 20th. I'm not saying it'll be June 20th, but June 18th, June 23rd, somewhere in that range, And what do I think will be in there? I have a couple things. So I think it's mostly going to be what we've been waiting for in terms of answers. The Drag X Drive release date. We will have that. Drag X Drive, the wheelchair basketball game, is set to release this summer, so we'll need a release date in that Direct. I think you'll have the Kirby Air Riders release date. I think it'll come out. I mean, it's set for this year. I'll tell you later when I think it's coming out. You'll have the Metroid Prime 4 release date. I'll tell you later when I think it's coming out. You'll have those, and then I'm going to take one swing. I'm going to take one, this is a bit of a risky prediction. So if I get this one wrong, you can't dunk on me, okay? But I'm going to say a new game gets revealed. Oh man, shocking prediction. And it'll be Super Mario Maker 3. I think it will be, guys, because hear me out. Nintendo's got nothing else for Mario this year, apart from the Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 Edition DLC Bonanza, right? And if you want to include Donkey Kong under the Mario umbrella, you can. But Mario himself has nothing else this year. I think there's a slot for Mario Maker 3, also considering that the last one was made in July of 2019. You would be revealing this one 6 years after the last one's release date. And by the time that this Mario Maker 3, Mario Maker 3 releases, it'll be over 6 years since the release of the last one. That's a pretty big gap. And mind you, Mario Maker 1 was in 2015. Mario Maker 2, 2019. That's only 4 years. And also, how long do you need to make a Mario Maker game? Probably not a crazy, length of time, right? So I think I'm going to take this little swing here. It'll be in the June 2025 Nintendo Direct. That is my prediction. Now, predictions for Mario Maker 3, I don't really know. It'll have mouse mode, I'm sure, where you can make a level that way. It'll have some other stuff, maybe even 3D, who knows, right? It'll have the Mario Wonder style. We'll have to see. But I think that will be shown in the Direct. Will it release this year? I'm going to say probably not. I'm going to say it'll be announced this year, come out next year at some point. Maybe quarter two or 3 of next year. We'll see. So that is my predictions for June. Obviously, the Switch 2 comes out that month, but my main prediction is the whole Direct is the release dates for those games, is the Mario Maker 3 tease. That's all gonna be all fun stuff. Next. In July, of course, there are 2 things already announced. Number 1, Donkey Kong Bonanza on July 17th, and Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 Edition on July 24th. And I'll be honest with you, I think that is it for July. I do not think any other games or any other content-worthy, noteworthy things will happen in July. No Direct. If they didn't show off a release date for Drag X Drive, maybe they tweet it out in July. I think that is it for July. So, no predictions for July, and also, well, no, I have some stuff for August. So, in terms of those 3 games that we don't have dates for, Drag X Drive, Metroid Prime 4, Kirby Air Riders, I think none of those launch in July. That is my prediction. Now we move to August. Here is where things heat up a little bit. I think Drag X Drive 1000%, you cannot change my mind, will, I'm so sure, I've never been more sure in my life. Drag X Drive, the wheelchair basketball game, will launch in August. I lean earlier August than late August, and I'll tell you why. But I think Drag X Drive will come out in August, and here's why. So, first of all, why do I at all lean early August? Well, the Kirby and the Forgotten Land Star-Crossed World Switch 2 Edition DLC Bonanza releases August 28th. So the late August spot is taken. And Nintendo announced Drag X Drive to be releasing in the summer of this year. When they've named games as summer games for the past, like Kirby's Dream Buffet, for example, for great example, for whatever reason, a lot of Nintendo summer games release in August. No idea why, but it's a trend. So, I've never been more sure that Drag X Drive will release in August. I believe I even said it when I was reacting to the Switch 2 Direct. I think I said it oh, that's August for sure. I just know. I'm the crystal ball man, So, Drag X Drive, August, has to be. I wouldn't doubt it. Put it on your calendar. Whatever, let's predict. Is it the first week of August or the second? Let's see. So, the whole Jamboree Switch 2 edition comes out July 24th. I think second week of August. So, whatever that Thursday, the second Thursday of August, I think that's when Drag X Drive will come out. Would not be shocked if it's the first week, though. So, we'll see. Well, actually, yeah, I might. Well, I'm trying to think. Actually, yeah, I might be shocked. Because the Jamboree thing. Yeah, no, sorry. It cannot be the first week of August. Because Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out July 17th. Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 comes out July 24th. That's already back-to-back weeks. If they do one more back-to-back week, it can't happen. Wait. There's a July 31st, right? So July 31st is a Thursday. Okay, hang on. Wait a minute. No, it is the first. Hold on. I need a calendar. I need a calendar so bad. Wait a minute. Hold on. July 31st has to be a Thursday, right? If that's the case, it will be. Yes, it is. Okay, so July 31st is a Thursday. That is when Nintendo releases games. I think, yes, it will be the first Thursday of August, meaning August 7th is when you will get Drag X Drive. Okay, well, weird calendar chaos. August 7th, I predict Drag X Drive. So there you go. That's all I think for August. Drag X Drive and the Kirby Switch 2 Star-Crossed World DLC hoopla, that thing, at the end of August, August 28th. That has been announced. That's not me trying to predict it and sound smart. No. The Jamboree release date and the Kirby release date have been announced. So that's all for August. Now in September, here's where things heat up. I have some pretty bold predictions, so listen carefully. In September, we know nothing. And at this point, we know nothing from September to December. So let's freaking talk. Let's talk predictions, okay? So first things first. In September, I know that we're predicting Switch 2 stuff, right? I know we are. But I think there's going to be something for Nintendo Switch 1 players. Now, this will also be playable on Switch 2, obviously, but I think that you do some sort of remaster. I think you put out, is this the time for Zelda Twilight Princess to be remastered? I don't know. Is this the time for Metroid Prime 2 and 3? I don't know. I think you put some remaster out there for Switch 1 players to play. Now, when will that release in September? I don't know. But I think there's something in that month to satisfy the Switch 1 players. And honestly, I know I have not predicted this, but I would not be shocked if something happens even sooner for Switch 1 players. Because imagine we go through, as we are here right now in May, all the way to September with no Switch 1 games. Do you know how bored Switch 1 players are going to be? Nothing from the end of March all the way to September. I can't talk today. September. Could you imagine how bored? That's what? April, May, June, July, August, 6 months. No Switch 1 games. And the Switch 1 game that you would be getting is a remaster. Now listen, that's fair because you want people, as Nintendo, you want people to upgrade to the next console. That makes sense to not put out many Switch 1 games. However, like what happens if Switch 2 is just sold out for like a year? These poor Switch 1 users, like, you got no games coming out and you can't upgrade. Like, your hands are tied. Like, what can you do? So, you gotta put out something in September. I don't have any bets on what the game would be, apart from it's a remaster. They wouldn't put out a brand new product for Switch 1 players. They will next year, because Tomodachi Life is coming out for the Switch 1. So next year, you'll have some Switch 1 stuff. But like as of right now, Switch 2 in full force, Nintendo has no time for you. They have no time for you. They have no time. They have no time for Switch 1 users. So I think some remaster, and then we can't leave September without talking about this. Guys, what usually, and I say usually, what usually happens in the month of September for Nintendo? You guessed it, a Nintendo Direct. I think because your brand new console is smoking hot, you do another Nintendo Direct in September. It makes freaking sense. Now, what do you do in that whole Direct? Well, number one, you can announce the said remaster I am talking about. So whether it's Metroid Prime 2 and 3, whether that's Zelda Twilight Princess, whether that's Zelda Ocarina of Time 4K, whatever, you announce that in there. And then I think you announce the release date for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That is a perfect spot to do it, considering that all we know for that game right now is that it releases in winter. We don't have a concrete date. So in that Direct, it'd be cool to show more footage and give us an actual date for that game. Then, this is me just being bold here. When you think of a brand new Nintendo console, and when you think of how Nintendo must be thinking about it, you want to get certain games on the console faster than others, or at least prioritize those games. And I think one of those games is going to be one of their most active online games. What I'm saying is, I think that you announce Splatoon 4 at this Direct. Now, you don't have to have it done. You do not have to have Splatoon 4 done. And you, bro, you don't have to release it for another while. When Splatoon 3 was announced, they announced it in February of 2021, didn't come out for a whole year and a half later. Longer. So you don't have to have it ready. Just announce it. Announce it and say 2026. There you go. That's it. Do that. And people will be hyped. I will say, I don't know why Nintendo even made Splatoon 3 so soon, because they should have been saving that for the Switch 2 launch. Unless they can whip out a whole brand new one, like within a year, they should have saved that for the Switch 2 release date or release year, so then they can have the whole game on Switch 2. But then you also have to think, Nintendo really is not in that big of a rush to bring Splatoon 4, because guess what? Splatoon 3 works on your Switch 2 via backwards compatibility. So are they in a rush? I don't know, but I think that you see that teased in this direct, because people want that brand new online game on their Switch 2. So we will see. After that, I will take one more predicting bold swing. I think that a brand new Mario sports game will be shown off in this direct, and it'll release next summer, because Nintendo loves all of their Mario sports games. They love their tennis, their soccer, their, what's the other one? Oh god, golf. Thank you. They love all these games. You gotta start pumping them out soon. And it's been, let's do the math, 7 years since the last Mario Tennis. It has been 4 years since the last Mario Golf. And it has been, what's the other one? Soccer. It has been 3 years since the last Mario Strikers game. So you can put out a new tennis, or a new Mario Sports Mix, or a new Mario Sports something. You can even do Mario Basketball. You know, you're bringing Drag X Drive back, which is basketball. You can do that. You can do whatever you want. But I think, Mario Sports games sell. I think that Mario Sports should start coming out on Switch 2. And obviously, your Switch 1 Mario Sports games will still work on Switch 2. But you want to start putting out that new stuff. Just because the old stuff works on the brand new toy does not mean that you want to kind of take things slow and not put brand new stuff out because you have time. You kind of want to get things out. So that is what I predict for September. Now let's move to October. There was one stint in late 2023. I wouldn't call it like the golden era of Nintendo by absolutely god any means, but we were getting like back-to-back, like Switch 1 releases. We had Detective Pikachu Returns October 6th, Mario Wonder October 20th, then we had WarioWare Move It on November 4th or something like that. And then we had, there was one more game after that. There was one more game. Mario RPG, like 2 weeks later. We were getting like back to back to back. I don't know if Nintendo's going to be doing that in this first year of Switch 2. It makes sense, but I think they have too many heavy hitters where it's like, let's take things a little slow. Now, they could shock me. They could go in that June Direct and be like, yo, we have this game, all coming out this year. They could do that, and it wouldn't surprise me. They're coming out swinging, okay? But if I had to put money on it, I'd bet on a bit of a slower year. And it's not even a slow year. But what I'm saying is, all of October, all I think Nintendo will do, I think that is your Metroid Prime 4 month. I think that is your Metroid Prime 4. And honestly, would not be shocked if that is also September, but I don't think that it will be. Reason being, Metroid Prime 4 is most definitely just about done. Because they've been demoing it at the Switch 2 events. And you're probably saying, Max, that doesn't mean it's done. But like, bro, like it's probably like just about there. It's probably like a few final touches. It's done, you know? So they could have it ready even sooner, September. But I think October is going to be your Metroid Prime 4 month. It just feels right. Something about it. So I think that will be in October. And then for November, I think that month is going to be your Kirby Air Riders month. And listen, you can say whatever you want. That Metroid Prime 4 release date could be in September. Whatever you want to say. I've never been so sure in my life Kirby Air Riders comes out in November. Mark my words. If I get it wrong, I will pay everybody who likes the podcast on YouTube $9 trillion. But I've never felt more sure about this. It's such a November game. Does anybody else feel that way? It's such a November 6th. November 6th, 2025. Is that even a Thursday? Is that even a freaking Thursday? Let's check. November. Oh my God. It is a Thursday. What are the chances? That is a Thursday. Guys, I'm telling you, November 6th, you will have, well, hold on, wait a minute. It does clash. Okay, no, it does. Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, November 6th, Kirby Air Riders. I'm telling you, mark my words, bro. Watch me post this on Twitter when it gets announced. I'm going to post this clip on Twitter right when it gets announced, the whole release date, and I'm just going to be just so correct about this. Now, if I get it wrong, I don't want to see people clip me on Twitter and be like, oh, look at this idiot. You know, I'm having fun on a microphone, on a podcast, but I feel pretty good about that one. So we will let it be. And then in December, to close out this segment, guys, it's really just a matter of looking at what Nintendo usually does in December, which, if we're being honest, is not much. Let's talk about some Nintendo December releases. So, last year, they had Fitness Boxing 3, okay? Year before that, they had Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. Very cool stuff, but as we can tell, it's a DLC, not like a full game. So, in 2021, they had Big Brain Academy. My point is, December is never a huge game. It's just like these small things. Big Brain Academy was half price. Fitness Boxing, I forget, but no one's hyped for Fitness Boxing, right? Pokemon DLC is awesome, but it's, not a full brand new game, obviously. So that's, I believe, I forget the price. Is it $25? I forget the price. It's been a while. And then, December is for the small things. So I think that will repeat this December. I think we will have something small for the Switch 2 from Nintendo this December. They always seem to put something small out. So I guess we'll see. Could be DLC. Could be a little eShop game. Could be Jump Rope Challenge for all I care. But that is it, folks. I think Switch 2 is in for one heck of a year. And listen, my predictions could be wrong, may be wrong, and heck, probably will be wrong. But if I can give you two to walk away with, first week of August, Drag X Drive, and then November 6th, Kirby Air Riders. Now, I will add a little bit of leniency, wiggle room on the November 6th release date. It could also be November, I'm looking at this calendar. I wouldn't be shocked if it comes out November 13th or 20th. So any week in November, apart from the last one. But I can guarantee you Kirby Air Riders will come out in November. Don't clip me. Don't clip me. But that's what I think. Folks, that is it for me predicting the Nintendo Switch 2's 2025. Let's go ahead and get to your favorite segment, the the question block segment, where I answer your questions that you asked me. It used to be called the Answering Your Question segment. My brain is apparently still wired that way, but let's get to the question block segment now. Folks, your favorite segment of the week, the question block segment. I am EmSwizzle, and I'm here to answer your questions you asked me. If you want to ask any questions, first things first, if you want to ask this way, I post on my YouTube community tab every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You can go on there on my main channel and ask on there, link down below. If you don't want to wait for that, no worries at all. In my Discord server, also linked down below, there's a channel called Podcast Questions. You can ask your question in there. And then finally, if you're maybe a bit old school, kind of don't want to do all that, you can email Mario Matter Questions at gmail.com and ask your question there. First question comes from CJ, who asks, "Hey Max, I'm trying to save up money for the Switch 2. I have $105. I still need to save a little bit more. Do you have any tips to make money? But I'm too young to get a job. Any tips?" Listen, CJ, I was in your spot, bro. I was in your spot. Kind of. Not exactly. Listen, bro. Heart to heart, man to man. This is the time. You gotta go get some cardboard from Walgreens. Or not Walgreens, CV, whoever, Michael's, or like any sort of craft store, okay? You gotta get a Sharpie, one of those thick ones, not the thin ones, and write lemonade stand, $10 each. And you have $105, so you gotta sell, what's that, 45? Oh, no, I can't be, is that right? 45 lemonade cups. Just make sure, reply to your own email to me. Give me the address. I'll come and buy 45. Well, no, 35. You need to sell 35 more. I'll come buy 35 right then, and we'll get you. We'll get you your Switch too. But seriously, it's tough. Look to see. I don't know how old you are. Don't really want to know. Not because I don't care, but like, you don't tell me your age, right? If you can do any household jobs, that's always something. If you can do any neighborhood jobs, that's something as well. Any way you can garage sale and flip the stuff on eBay. You can sell things that you currently have. That's what I used to do. I used to sell all my old games, and now I regret it. But yeah, you can do that. Just make sure you will not regret selling those games, and be sure about that. Don't make the same mistake I did, because I've sold games that I regret, but I've sold games that I don't regret selling. They sucked. So make sure that they actually suck before you sell them, and you'll be good. But I mean, you can do a lemonade stand. I wouldn't price them at $10 each. Little pricey. Maybe put them at 5 cents, and then just rely on tips. Rely on tips and steal their money. I'm just kidding. Don't do that either. Price it fair. Hey Siri, what's a good lemonade stand price?
A good lemonade stand price would be between 25 cents and $1. The
Okay.
lower the prices, the more customers one would get.
25 cents. CJ, 25. 25 cents. All right. Just send me the Addy. I'll be there. Pointless Army asks, when the Animal Crossing Switch 2 comes out, are you going to take time off to grind? If not, will you go back to making Animal Crossing full-form videos? Wow, Pointless Army wants to return to my roots. Okay, well, so for those who don't know, I used to be a full-on Animal Crossing channel. If you want to scroll up on my main channel, called EmSwizzle, you can. It's all Animal Crossing stuff. I will never ever go back to just making Animal Crossing videos and Animal Crossing only. What will happen when Animal Crossing Switch 2 releases? I'll probably take like 3 days off. I'll have my content scheduled, so then like no one notices that I'm taking days off, but I'll probably take 3 days off, hide in a dark room and grind for 72 hours. And, I'll just be very happy. But seriously, what I'll probably do is play it a whole bunch for as long as my heart desires, whether it's 1 day, 2 day, 3 days at most. Can't go more than that. And then what I'll probably do in terms of content is make a review video out of it and come on this podcast and just gush about it and be like, wow, this is the greatest of all time, but I'll probably do a main channel review of the game. So that's what I'll do for content. Never will go back to just making Animal Crossing videos. By the way, guys, for those watching the video version, nobody is smoking next to me. I have a humidifier on, and like some of the steam or whatever is like blowing it into the camera. So no one's smoking. Don't worry. My podcast producer is not smoking next to me. So yeah, we're okay. If you need proof, I can't bring it over here. Trust me, okay? Tim and Tom asks, I know the Switch 2 is gonna come out, but do you think they would call the next console Switch 3? I mean, the hybrid idea is great. Oh, we gotta think. How many Switches will there be? We had this question before, a similar one. I think that my answer was there can only be 2. Whatever the next Nintendo console is, cannot be a Switch. Now, will it be hybrid? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And listen, probably. They won't do just a TV console or a handheld console, but it will not be called Switch. Will it work like one? Yeah, probably. It'll not be called Switch, and it'll have a brand new, console-defining gimmick. That's what I think. But yeah, they will not call it the Switch 3. It's a good name, it works, but we'll also be 7 years in the Switch 2's life when we see that next console, so the whole Switch thing will get pretty old. Finally, Luigi Bros 64YT asks the real question: who is your favorite Skylander? Mine is Chaos. Chaos is not really a Skylander. I mean, he was in Skylanders. Was it Superchargers or Imaginators? They made a Chaos figure. He doesn't count though, does he? He was the villain. He was the op. He doesn't count. I don't know. My favorite though, I have a few. So we got Zook, we got Washbuckler, and I'll give you one more. God, that's kind of tough. I'm forgetting his name. Well, here's I'll give you four. Washbuckler, Zook, not in any order. Lobstar from Trap Team. And then I'll give you, what's his that Bumblebee dude from Swap Force? Bumblebee Swap Force. Not that bug. Not the bug. Here, Bumble Blast. Thank you. That guy is legit, dog. That guy is legit. Bumblebee, Skylander, Swap Force. That man don't play. That guy will clean your block, okay? I actually just stumbled upon a sealed new in box festive themed Jolly Bumble Blast. I'm gonna buy that at some point. That looks freaking awesome. Okay, well, folks, I give you those 4. I give you those 4 Skylanders. Those are my favorite. God, he looks so nice. Jolly Bumble Blast. You can't beat him, man. But folks, that is it for the Mario Matter episode 138. Thank you all so much for listening. And I want to go ahead and give a little promo for next episode. So next week, guys, I will be at PAX East in Boston. Put a 1 down below if you're going to PAX East in Boston next week. That is a gaming convention. I will be there, not doing anything there other than walking around and vlogging a bit. I don't have a panel that I'm doing there. I'm just going there to chill, hang out. If you see me, say hi. I'll say hi. I'm very nice, I'm told. So come up to me. I'm not too busy, so I'll be there. Which means that convention is towards the end of the week. We always record this podcast at the end of the week. I cannot record my podcast at the usual time next week, meaning next Tuesday, I'll be recording the podcast, which means not a whole lot of Nintendo news will have come out by then, which means next podcast is going to be a fun solo episode where I answer all of your questions and react to your hot takes all about Nintendo Switch 2. So, in the comments below, I will leave a separate, community post on my main channel asking for these. But if you want to comment down below right now, comment either a question you have for me that relates to Switch 2 that you want to hear my take on, or if you're going to leave a hot take, type hot take and then put your hot take, and I'll react to those on the next podcast episode, and that'll be most of next podcast. So tune into that. I'll see you all then. Thank you all so much for listening. Like the video on your way out. 5 stars on Spotify or Apple. I appreciate you so much. Spotify listeners, thank you all for your great listenership and loyalty. I'm sorry I have not figured out how to like all of your comments, but I see you all. All of you who comment, I appreciate you. I don't know how to interact, okay? But either way, I'll see you all soon. Thank you all so much. Adios.